the auditions were kind of they were some of the best experiences of my career, in as much as the talent that came through our doors was mind-blowing, and they brought with it such a passion for the show. And the dance call, I mean, it basically, it turned into a club, you know, like I think we'd set up an arena in which they could play, and then, you know, for about 20 minutes, me and Wilbert and Luke were standing on chairs, you know, like with a big sound system, while everyone was going crazy, and people, you know, it was electrifying, and I think that it's something that even now, you know, we're coming towards the end of our rehearsal process, and the energy with which these kind of the cast bring to it is really astounding.
Like, we know the world that we want to create, we know the production that we want to shape, we know how to tell the story, we know how to do that kind of collaborative exercise. But it was about finding the right people to colour in between the lines with. Someone like Sam, who's just brought the snuck to life, and the way he accesses the material is just incredible. And one of the things that's so extraordinary about the piece is you can't separate out the form from its subject matter. The way it tells the story is also part of the same medium, and that uses rap. And Sam, you know, just takes that like a duck to water. And so putting him in the centre of the world just is absolutely a big part of our process.
I think he's created a really amazing environment in terms of his energy, his nature is so charismatic and warm. He's a leader by heart, he's a leader. And it's funny because he's a kind of an odd hero. As a written character, he's an odd hero, and Sam has kind of, he illustrates that on a daily basis, and you can just see the way that the rest of the cast admire him. It was that first read-through, we did a read-through, and he nailed the opening number. You just said everyone, even people that hadn't, you know, they just started like singing parts of the book, and it was just like it was just that moment, you know, that first line he says, you know, lights up on Washington Heights, and you could just feel everybody in the circle. The room was like, okay, right, game on. Like it was really exciting.
And what's amazing was then you just watch them all sort of fall in love with each other, and kind of the read-through went on, and each one of them brings their own sort of individual skill set. You have someone like Damien, who's just an amazing kind of breakdancing mover, and we have someone like Gabriella, who knows the show inside out, and the language and the culture is so vitally important to her. That actually, that kind of melting pot of skill sets, you never quite know until that first day whether you've got it right. But all of us just sort of sat back and went, it was quite amazing actually, really amazing. The fact that Southwark were interested and available to us is really one of the reasons that the show's happening. When we first sort of accessed the piece, we were so excited by what it had to say, but actually bringing it over to sort of an end-on theatre here would feel, I think, quite bizarre as its first introduction to a British audience. And what we're doing at Southwark is very responsive to that building, and quite environmental and immersive in the way that it has a relationship with the audience. And it kind of gives it an excitement that's quite visceral and immediate. And watching what Drew's able to create with the movements, you're going to be so close to the dances that I hope that it brings an additional element to it.
Or at least sweat.
Yeah, at least sweat. You're going to be sat there wiping the sweat with the face.
Rain maximum.
Yeah, and we're absolutely remaining true to the spirit of what the Broadway production was. And you have to honour what's gone before you as well. But we've been so lucky that they've let us create our own version that is responding to the cast that we have and the space that we have as well, which is really exciting. I think it's also about widening our perspective beyond the West End as well. It's very easy to kind of look to the West End and go, oh, you know, various musicals that have been produced recently haven't found their commercial audience. That's not to say they're failures, but it's to say that they haven't found enough audience to sustain themselves. But looking out regionally, there's extraordinary work going on from Sheffield to Chichester to Leicester Curve, you know, all over the place. And also on the fringe of London, and this kind of emerging off West End scene that didn't really exist before. Somewhere like Southwark as a space allows you just enough seats to just about make it work. And actually there's some really interesting new voices coming through there, there's some really exciting new work, and particularly if you look ahead to next year, there's some fantastic shows coming up. Which are kind of in early stages now, workshop stages, and you know we're out there trying to be a part of those pieces of work as well. And I think anyone who says musical theatre is going through a dying form, I'd want to have a chat with them and just say it's forcing us to reimagine what it might be and look at different.
We're just ripping up roots. We're ripping up roots, and you know, with any industry, you have to be flexible. And I think that that's for financial reasons, artistic reasons, and I think that actually musical theatre has survived many years. And I think that we might be going through a period where, on the grand scale, we're kind of learning quick lessons about what our audience wants and what they don't want. But actually, as a young practitioner, I feel like this is an incredibly exciting time to be working in creating theatre, because there's so many people around us that are making brilliant new discoveries, and we're excited to hopefully be part of that.
Cool. And finally, what would you say in one sentence to encourage people to come and see In the Heights?
I'll say anything in one sentence.
You might know this already. Yeah, it takes a couple of paragraphs.
One sentence, anyway.
I'd say come and be a part of it. It's going to be a completely new experience. This is a very long sentence. A completely new experience that I don't think you'll have encountered in London before, and hopefully it should feel like a big party.
Yeah, I think you should come and see In the Heights, because it's a musical unlike any other, and the sheer energy and passion that the cast have thrown into this very special piece is worth the ticket price alone.
Washington Heights.